It's been 2 months since we've seen a major update for Sulfur, but let me tell you, Desert was worth the wait. Not only did we get a huge new area that rivals the size of Forest with 4 new enemy types and a boss, but we also got Crypt Challenges, which are way more complex than anyone thought they were going to be in a really good way. That's not even mentioning the new vendor bill, plus the 10 new trinkets and the 3 new guns. I mean, it's almost overwhelming how much great stuff was put into this update. With every update, I like to go over every single thing that's added in a major update, and that's exactly what we're gonna do here today, but featuring Desert. There's really only one major spoiler I plan to mention, and it's about the boss battle at the end of Desert, so if you don't want any kind of spoilers for the story or the game in general, maybe don't watch that boss section. Taking a look at Desert, it's very similar to the Forest update in that you've got a lot of open area for you to run around, jump around, run away from tornadoes in. That's right, they did add tornadoes. Those tornadoes will pick you up, spin you around, and throw you off your game. They don't affect the enemies that I've seen. I've even gotten a couple of them to walk directly into it, and they don't seem to care about the crazy winds. Maybe they have some metal armor holding them down. I'm not sure. Probably not, because they ride on freaking sandworms. There's sandworms that will come in, drop them off, and they'll start attacking you. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to ride a sandworm. I even asked for it. I asked for it. The first thing you'll notice is that it's hard to see. It's very dusty, and you don't get that big visibility you have on nearly any other map. Most of the time, the fog distance isn't that insane. It does make sense because we're in a desert, but I would like some sort of goggles or something that I could wear that would make the vision a little bit clearer. You know how we can wear diving goggles and stuff like that? Just don't try with the Rudolph nose. It's not a little secret hack. Trust me. How's this look? Oh, shit! If you get lost when you're roaming around the desert, the same rules as Forest apply, that if you stay on the trail, you can get your way to the exit. I've noticed there's not as much looting to do in Desert as there is in, say, Forest. It's more about finding the crypts, but there is some loot if you can find it. A couple chests here and there. Not to say it's totally void of loot, but the main attraction, once again, is the crypts and their challenges. RNG is going to play a big factor here because you're not always guaranteed to have a crypt spawn when you're in Desert. In fact, sometimes you can have a crypt spawn that's completely blocked off with no way of removing the blockage. So far, I've noticed you can only access a crypt once per level. If you've had an instance where you've had 2 crypts in one level that were accessible, let me know, because that'd be some good information to have for everybody. How you'll access the crypts is with Crypt Keys, and if you've been following this channel for a while, you'll have learned from the developer interview that Crypt Keys were going to be implemented around the start of early access, but they weren't ready yet, and they were supposed to be very powerful, and yes, they are, because the rewards for finishing a crypt are very sweet. But it is a crypt challenge, and at times it can be very challenging. Don't be an idiot like me and avoid all of the enemies and run straight into a crypt, because if you go down there, they will follow behind you, and it makes the experience a whole lot messier and harder to finish. Typically, I'll just kill them on the stairs before I drop down into the hole. There's another hole you don't want to be dropping into when you're in the crypt, and that's the void. The void hurts like a motherfucker, and if you do fall in there, you're going to spawn in a random area, which could be on a glob of enemies that will mess you up. So just be careful not to fall off. I would recommend some sulfurs for the triple jump, but y'all know I'm going to recommend the sulfurs for any experience in sulfur, because a double sulfur is like having your cake and then eating the other guy's cake, and then eating yours. You just get all the cake. You're spoiled now. I ran probably 10 to 15 crypt challenges just to see which ones were available, because it doesn't say exactly in the patch notes. And with RNG, you can run the same challenge multiple times in a row. Like, for instance, when I streamed the update, I kept getting the Find the Chicken challenge, but when I was recording offline and setting this video up, I didn't see that challenge once. What I did see when I was recording was kill targets, which will have you kill a bunch of different big boss type enemies. Survive, which just is surviving. Protect involves you watching 2 beacons and stopping enemies from getting to them and destroying them. It's okay if one gets destroyed during this challenge, but make sure you have at least one of them standing, even if it's a sliver of health. Once you beat a challenge, on your way out, you can grab yourself one of the new 10 trinkets, or one of the old trinkets if you're unlucky, and keep getting goddamn sheriff's badges. I don't want any more of them. Please stop! Perfect random. Thankfully, I haven't lost a challenge yet. I guess maybe I should. Would that be the right thing to do for testing reasons? I used to be a game tester. I love testing new updates with Sulfur. Should I let the game rock me? I thought about breaking down what every single trinket does, but I think that might be better saved for another video so people don't have to leave because they didn't want spoilers on rare new items. I totally get that. But I do want to speak on some of the more major ones, so if you don't want to hear about those and you want to save those surprises for yourself, go ahead and skip ahead to the next chapter, bud. It's okay. One I'm sure you've already heard a lot about is the ass wheel trademarked, which is every YouTuber's best friend when it comes to demonetization. I actually prefer when devs do this. I'd rather them just get weird with it. Who cares about advertisements and stuff? Who cares about catering to that kind of crap? I love shit like this. Can we get a fuck faucet next? Fuck faucet is crazy. I don't know. I just put two words together. I mean, shit, they could have called the dog whistle the bitch whistle, and technically it's not offensive because female dogs are bitches. This is not a conversation I want to go down anymore. The ass wheel is going to change how everyone speedruns Sulfur going forward, because if you have it equipped, you can crouch and sprint and move faster. So the name is perfect. I mean, really, there's no other better name for it. It does feel a bit weird for them to implement this and still not have a toggle crouch feature in the game. I was kind of disappointed by that, but I did figure out a bug that kind of counters that a little bit. At one point, we were able to cheese the game by holding our melee, open the inventory, leave the inventory, and you'd still have your melee out, allowing us to sprint without having to hold the button. They patched that, even though I think it was kind of a harmless bug that really just kind of made the game a little bit better with quality of life, but that's okay. The good news is you can do the same thing with crouching. Hold crouch, open your inventory, leave your inventory, and you stay crouched. It's the same thing, just a different flavor. Ass flavor. I don't know why I did that. You can also find the dark lamp, detective pipe, dog whistle, bitch whistle if you're feisty, the instant defibrillator, which just brings us closer and closer to Minecraft. I'm starting to look a little less crazy, aren't I? It's essentially a totem of undying, which is great because it also shows us that trinkets can be used as consumable. There might even be some others like that on the list, my friend. You'll have to find out yourself or wait for me to make a video about it, I guess. Well, work. You've got the iron feather and library card. The library card jumps out to me in a big way because its buff is that you get 30% extra experience, but right now we can only rake up our guns with experience. If you were to equip 4 of these, you're getting 120 experience. That's an absurd amount that would make every gun ranking super easy to do, which makes me think they might have something else planned for meta progression in the game. And that could be anything, but it's all speculation for now. It could be your armor, it could be your character level, it could be like companions. We don't know what they have planned, but that seems like a pretty insane amount of XP. Or they'll just nerf it and they didn't realize people were going to put 4 of those on for every time they want to level up a gun. I don't know what their plans are. I never do. How about the loaded die, lock of the magus, metabulator pump, or rangefinder? Rangefinder is another weapon type trinket which puts rifles on the board when it comes to building guns. So rifles or sniper rifles? Doesn't matter, I showed you. I want to get a little bit more in depth in that, but I also don't want to ruin your surprises, like I said. I will, however, ruin the yakety sacks because I think this is a real game changer for trinkets. We've had consumables that can slow down time in Sulfur, but we've never had one that is permanent if it's in your trinket slot. And we've never had one that makes time go faster, and yakety sacks will do both. It's exciting to see a new game mechanic like this, and I have no idea how I want to try to implement it. Maybe use it to skip through some boss fights a little easier, because some of them can be slow with their phases. I'm looking at you, St. Lucia. I don't like sitting in the darkness that long. I don't like being in the darkness of my mind. What makes you think I want to do it in a game? Great job keeping the mood light and fun, Dot. You know what's actually light and fun? The 3 new weapons, all of which come with the gimmick of being smaller than most of their counterparts. You've got the new SMG, which is the Valet. Just like the Ploika, it only takes up 4 slots. The shotgun, known as the Major Dome, only takes up 6 slots. The DMR takes up 4 slots, and it's known as the Far Sight. That inventory management is great, and it might help a lot when we get endless mode. That's what I plan to use these for. I think I forgot to mention Old Bill. Old Bill is a turtle that lives, well, I gotta stop saying old. He's not named Old Bill. I don't know why I'm doing that. His name is Bill, and he's a turtle that you can find in the desert area. He can have some really powerful stuff in his inventory, like Crypt Keys and pizza. That's not mentioning oils that aren't supposed to be there. You can't find these anymore, but during the first day of this update, you were able to find him selling oils that are no longer in the game. You can't even find him in dev kit, which is really weird. However, if you did buy them before they took him out of his inventory, you still have them in your chest or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think they should just leave them in dev kit for people to play around with them, you know, play with them at your own risk. But it is what it is, and it doesn't matter too much anyways. We already have mountains and mountains of oils to play with. So Bill's gonna be your only friendly face throughout Desert, but you have 4 other faces that you can run into. 5 if you count the sandworm. I haven't got a good look at his face yet though. You've got snipers which will hide under pots, and there's also decoy pots around that don't give loot for some reason. I feel like they should, but they're not doing it yet. These guys have insane accuracy and incredible range. Try to find cover when they get their laser sight set on you. Move in from where they were aiming at you, break as many pots as you can till they pop out, but then you're going to want to kill them quick because they also have an SMG that will melt you. You also have riflemen, which are basically just goofy cartoon characters that will shoot at you and then fall on their ass when they do it. They're not that crazy. They're more comical than anything. They do hurt though. Everything here will hurt you. Then you got the Beyblade boys who are invincible when they're in their spinning animation and they can hit like a truck. They move very fast, so make sure to wear some clothing that increases your movement speed. When they're done letting it rip, they're pretty vulnerable, so just kill them in that state quickly. My personal favorite of the new enemies are the Mole Men. They'll cruise around underground and jump up at you, terror bomb style. When they're underground, you want to run towards them and get them to pop out. Quickly move out of the way. If you've noticed, I'm saying quickly a lot. A lot of these enemies depend on you moving away from them and getting the advantage on them. Even though they're so cute, they're all really cute. I love their designs. They're all so adorable. Once you're out of the way, they're pretty much exposed and you just shoot them dead. Alongside this patch, we also got some bug fixes that I wanted to talk about. Some that are good, some that make me very, very depressed, putting me back in that darkness hole. Finally, the Thunderbolt scroll will work with bounce oils, and it made it stupid OP if you put them on. You could just clear rooms with that thing. This one kind of annoyed me a little bit because I just did a melee ranking video where I told you how to use every weapon, and the nunchucks were a weapon that had the same reach as the bow staff, but they nerfed the nunchucks reach. So the stats at the end of that video are kind of incorrect. It's just early access. This is what happens. This might sound hypocritical considering I did a video showcasing it, but I am depressed that they found out how broken energy weapons are. And they fixed the durability bug with the Wyatt Pulsar and Dart. I'm sorry, gang. It was good while it lasted. We can go back to never using those guns. I'm sorry. I don't like them outside of that. Especially the Dart. It's just too slow for me. I gotta use RPM oils to get her going. Rest in peace, King. That might just be me being butthurt. I mean, the wound's still fresh. Before we get to the boss fight, I want to mention some of the changes that were directly referenced in the patch notes. Maybe they were hinted upon, but didn't give you the exact details. I went through and found those details for you. Outside of the entrance to desert, you can find cactus that you can now farm there for food. It's almost like we're getting a farming minigame that we've been asking for. Not that crazy, it's just cactus, but I do think it's a good start for that. You also might have noticed it said they reworked boss loot a bit. It's just gonna get complicated, but just bear with me. In caves, it looks like Cousins dropping the same old shit. At the end of town, you'll get a weapon chest and an armor chest. The Mace Knight dungeon doesn't have any changes to his loot that I noticed. St. Lucia and Castle is now dropping scrolls and chisels, maybe even Crypt Keys. I was seeing them a lot before the 2 patches came out. I haven't seen them since the patches came out, but she was dropping Crypt Keys almost 50% of the time before that. Could be coincidence, I don't know. Now Forest drops you weapons and armor, but without the chests. Fortress is kind of the same in the sense that it has a lot of really rare items, but now you're not guaranteed those 2 scrolls that used to be. You're just gonna have 4 really rare items up there. I even had one run where I ended up with 3 gun insurances at the end, which is awesome. Going back to the Mace Knight, or the Novanian Guard, or whatever the hell his name is, they reworked his flash so it's not as eye-melting, I guess would be a good word for it. I'm still not a massive fan of this fight, but it is a lot better now. It's not as blinding, and it is a better indicator that you're doing the right thing when you shoot him. It just looks better. For a few days after the update, we were getting daily patches that were fixing certain things, and they did make some kind of big changes in them. Mostly the trash people, the amalgamations, can now be killed permanently with explosions, which is great because I did like 3 or 4 videos showing you could kill them anyways by putting enough lead into them, but now it's way easier. Judging by the way they phrase that, I'm not even sure they knew you could kill them permanently, which is nuts. And just like another knife in my back, they managed to fix the Breacher 8 durability bug and not mention it in any of the patches. I'll still use it though. Honestly, I'll just have to bring a bunch of repair kits because you can get that thing doing like 30,000 damage in one shot. They also made some big changes to the boss fight at the end of Desert, which is what we're going to talk about right now. Click off if you don't want major spoilers for the boss fight, especially the end of it. This boss fight is long. That's the best word I can use to describe it. He's a very cool boss, but there's many little instances of where he'll talk to you about something. I just kind of want to keep farming whatever I came there for, which is the prezzies. At the end, you get some Christmas prezzies, which the enemies can open. I thought that was kind of horse shit. Don't open my prezzies, bitch. That surprise is for me and me alone. But you only get like 4 of these presents, and the rewards inside of them, while being pretty high tier loot, I don't think it's totally worth it for the amount of stages that you have to go through. Like the missile dropping, and then the uniform missile dropping, and then the sniper section, and then the section with all the mobs, and it's just so much stuff and so long of a fight fight, I don't see a point in grinding it too much, especially when you could just go back and do forest and get some really good stuff at the end. I wonder if the Yakety Sax can help with all these little stages in between and we could speed up time. It's going to make the fight a lot harder, but like I said, it's just too much time invested for minimal rewards. I think what could help this is having a guaranteed crypt spawn in the boss level, whether it's at the beginning or after you finish it. That would be great to give people a chance that might not have seen one on their entire run, or they only saw like one and they wanted to grind more trinkets. If you happen to have a charmed dog with you, it won't die to the falling bombs. I just thought that was interesting. It could die to the sniper shots, but it won't die to the falling bombs. Don't get me wrong, this boss was amazing the first time. I loved every second of it, even though they patched it to make it a little bit more fluid and playable. I should mention, you can crash going into this one. I crashed like 8 times going into this boss fight for some reason. It's really the only level that's done that to me, but the ending is absolutely amazing. I refuse to spoil what happens at the end of this, but the implications of it show that... No, I should just spoil it. Yeah, because that's what I said I was going to do. What the heck is that big-ass door at the end? What is going to happen in the next one? The revenge. It could be anything. It could be like we're small in a big world, because that's a huge door. Where are we going? Are we going like into like the multiverse? Is it like a theater? I saw somebody say a theater when I was streaming it. There are so many endless options that I shouldn't even... This is just a rant about me like thinking about it. I'm not even like giving you my ideas. I guess I kind of did, but it's just so exciting. That was an amazing, epic conclusion to it. My jaw was dropped. We have not seen anything that cinematic in the game, and it was so freaking cool. I can't wait to see what we get with the revenge. That should be everything I found in the desert update. If I missed anything, please don't be afraid to let me know in the comments. I appreciate when you guys do it, because you're educating me and anybody else who reads your comments. Speaking of which, I did see some passive-aggressive comments about me saying that I was giving bad information here or there. I just felt the need to say that I don't intentionally do that. I've never intentionally did that. I always try to say this could be a bug. Who knows what this will happen for you? There's RNG in place. It's early access. If something doesn't work the same for you, but it worked for me, it's not that I was trying to deceive you or make some clickbaity bullshit. I've never done that except for like April Fools, but I feel like that's valid. I don't know why I would even try to do something like that, because everything I've ever told you, you can go into dev mode and try yourself at any point. I wouldn't be able to get away with a lie like that. If there's anything you're confused about or you can't get to work a certain way, let me know in the comments and I'll try to help you, because that's all I want to do with these videos, is help and entertain you guys. Nothing else. Nothing malicious or weird, because you guys are awesome and I appreciate every single one of you, especially those members, because the members go out of their way to give a little bit extra support to my family and I appreciate it so much. They don't have to do that, but they do it anyways. They're amazing, beautiful people. Look at each and every one of them. They're just, you can tell how great they are, right? If you didn't see, I made another video essay similar to the Dead Zone Rogue one I did just a couple weeks ago about Borderlands 4 and their buffoon of a CEO, Randy Pitchford. I felt the need to say something because it was just so weird how bad that launch went and how the way he took it, and it was interesting to me. I've never seen a CEO with this level of a narcissist complex, or whatever you want to call that. He seems like a narcissist. I also don't like using that label for anyone. That's kind of messed up. Is there another word for it? I do want to apologize for being very late with this, but that's because my son has been very sick. It was just unfortunate timing for Borderlands and this to come out within 24 hours of each other, and then my son gets sick with a fever and rashes, and just, it's been a nightmare of a couple of weeks. I appreciate you guys for still watching and making it all the way to the end, even though you had to wait so long for this. You guys are amazing, and I worked my butt off, so don't think I was just lazing around. I wasn't sleeping, so I was working every chance I could.